Where's my sound? Are we there? We're in. Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. You know who I am. And we're here for Ward versus Kovalev post-fight. I think we'll go in reverse chaining. Congratulations to Andre Ward, now a two-weight world champion. I want to start by what Kovalev said, because I think that's the best way for us to start this off. Commiseration to Sergey Kovalev, two great fighters in the ring. It's never nice when you've got a fighter like Sergey Kovalev, as he says after a fight. Take your loss, be a man, and you know what? You can come back afterwards and you can avenge your defeat like all great fighters do. I think for Kovalev to turn around and say, like he said, there were three judges. There were three judges before he stepped through the ropes. They were aware of who the judges were. There was no complaint before the fight about the judges. So why are you complaining about the judges after the fight? You see, you can't cover your back there. And if so, if it's the case, he had a problem with three judges and he was the champion, he was a unified champion, and he was complaining about the judges, I think that's a bad look on his team. But he was the champion. Ward was the challenger. He was the guy he was the go-to guy, Sergey Kovalev. Okay, now, in terms of the pound for pound, yeah, probably Andre Ward is now the pound for pound #1 in the world, in my opinion. I'll talk about the fight in a moment. But numero uno in the light heavyweight division, I ain't so sure. You still got to go to the man, who is Adonis Stevenson. Adonis Stevenson is the WBC champion. Knocked out Chad Dawson, to become the light heavyweight champion of the world. So in my opinion, I believe that Andre Ward still has to go and see Adonis Stevenson. I think Adonis Stevenson hits just as hard as Kovalev, but the difference with Adonis Stevenson, he definitely can't fight backing up. I think he's an easier fight in a lot of respects for Andre Ward than Sergey Kovalev. Sergey Kovalev, two-fisted attack. Andre Ward pushing Stevenson back would be an interesting fight. Anyway, my thoughts on the fight, I think when you want to think about heart, you want to talk about guts, you want to talk about determination, you want to talk about boxing skills, you want to talk about adjustments on the fly, you want to talk about fighting a big, strong guy, a guy who was probably weighing closer to a cruiserweight on the night against a guy who looked like a super middleweight on the night, although he weighed in as a light heavy, showed tremendous skill and was able to use boxing skill under pressure against an unbeaten fighter who was a unified champion and knocks out most opponents. That right hand that knocked down Ward in the second round, there were many a guy that would have got from those shots. So credit to Andre Ward for that. Showed a great chin, showed great heart. And Andre Ward said it was the first time he'd been knocked down. I think he was slightly concussed from Kovalev's punching power. I'd like to just remind Mr. Ward that he was also knocked down before by Darnell Boone, who backed actually Kovalev to win the fight. To be fair and to be honest with you, I felt that the fight at first looking at, I thought it was a draw or a counter draw. That's because I like both Kovalev and Ward. Okay, but then if you're honest with yourself, Kovalev was moving around the ring in the same way from round 1 to round 12. Was moving around the ring the same way, very one-paced all around the ring. My problem with that is, if you're moving around the ring all the time and your head's being snapped back and you're getting hit to the body and getting hit with clean shots, and the longer the fight was going down the stretch, Kovalev was tiring, which allowed Ward to get inside and throw more body shots and throw the jab and do more things. So Ward showed more experience going down the stretch. Okay, when you fight guys, when you're in fights with guys who you can dominate because of your power, it's one thing. But when you're in a ring with a guy who now can take your best shot and come back at you and keep coming back at you and countering you and making you miss and making you pay and frustrating you, that's what Andre Ward did. All these people that say Kovalev won the fight, if you think that walking around the ring and looking menacing is boxing, then you're highly mistaken. Yes, it was a close fight, and I called it close to a draw. But when you look at what Dre was doing down the stretch, He was landing the cleaner shots, the more eye-catching shots, not the heavier shots. The cleaner shots, the more eye-catching shots. Body shots were being landed on the inside. That's if you count body shots as punching. Boxing's about hit and not get hit. So for me, and what I saw there, I thought Ward won the fight. He landed crisper shots. He landed the more eye-catching punches. He had the better jab. And going down the stretch, as I said, Ward landed better punches. So I give Ward the fight. I like Kovalev. Don't get me wrong. I like Kovalev. I spoke about Kovalev years ago on Bayloric before we had the boxing channel. And I said, this guy is going to be a serious fighter. So that's my thought on that. As for Gennady Golovkin fans, don't talk about Andre Ward in the same breath. Okay? Gennady Golovkin has fought one marquee name, and that was a welterweight he dragged up to fight a middleweight. Okay? He's yet to fight a marquee name at middleweight. A marquee name. He's yet to be in a ring with a guy, with a guy who is as good or better than him, or people backed against to beat him. Okay? In the Ward fight, there were a lot of people expecting Ward to get knocked out. At no fight that Gennady Golovkin's been in so far in his career has anyone expected Gennady to get knocked out. And that's the difference. Ward moved from super middleweight up to light heavyweight. He cleaned out the super middleweight division, moved up to light heavyweight to chase greatness. He did it. A lot of people on here on YouTube said to me, Ward wouldn't take the fight. Ward would chicken out the fight. Ward would get injured in the fight. Where are you now? Ward is now the unified light heavyweight champion of the world, and he's done it. And I'm so proud for Andre Ward. A close decision in a big fight such as that, to have 3 US judges, sorry, that's your own fault. If you're the Kovalev's team, Kathy Duva and them should have done something about that before the fight. But they were so confident on Kovalev getting the knockout. Then hey, complacency, I think. But those are my thoughts on that. Let me see what people are saying in the room. There's loads of people in the room saying a lot of things. I don't personally think walking around the ring with your hands down by the side looking menacing like you're trying to do something wins fights. I think you've got to, as a champion, you've got to... Look, Kovalev followed Ward around the ring. It's Kovalev's fault. At any point in time, Kovalev tried to cut off the ring, stop Ward from moving from side to side. Did he do that? No. He just followed Ward around the ring. So if you follow Ward around the ring and Ward's hitting you with left jabs and body shots, you only got yourself to blame. So I don't think so. Yep, Jake said Ward and Hunter were shocked as me. No. Shez Jackson said Ward had his hand up after, no shock. Solomon Mangwan says that's why we decided to take it slow and drag it out and showcase his skills. He was on par with Andre Ward with boxing skills. No, he wasn't. Jackson, when they said Ward, his head was down, he instantly looked up in shock. He looked up to Almighty. Oh, I'm not going to go up and down about. The decision is what it is. It's down to the judges. Judges made a decision, and that's it. Honestly, real fans know who won. Ward still won't get the respect he's looking for, of course. Journalists, critics, boxers won't give them the respect. No, they won't. And I was glad that Paulie Malignaggi was on there once again, schooling Adam Smith and the Sky Boxing team. Right? Walking around a ring, but not putting pressure on a fighter, just walking around the ring, does not win you fights. Okay, that's as bad as what we saw the other day. Malik Scott running around the ring and not throwing punches. Kovalev walked around the ring against Ward, and Ward was hitting him with a jab, counter punching him, hitting him with body shots. You know, but it depends what you like in boxing. If you like a guy that walks around the ring looking menacing, then fine. Maybe you need to, I don't know, watch more horror movies. But boxing is about hit and not get hit. Well, Kovalev was getting hit and hit and hit repeatedly with jabs to the body and jabs to the head. Ward won, and that's it. Mikey Beer says Ward schooled him. Let's see. Let's see if somebody got some people in here. Ward is a con man. Always has been. Always will be. Then Pixel Hero, if you're going to say he is a bullshit fighter, who is your fighter that you're calling a great fighter in this era? Don't say Floyd Mayweather. He's retired. Give us a great fighter in your comparison who's still undefeated, who's gone up in 2 weight divisions and beaten the top guy in the weight category above and the weight category below. If he's a bullshit fighter and he's a con man, tell us who your fighter is, Pixel Fighter. Marky Bier, Kovalev threw not much after the 5th round. Ward took over. Agreed there. Kovalev found it hard to cut off the ring in the later rounds. Agreed. I did say that he would gas in the later rounds. He gassed in the later rounds against Chilimbe as well. Kovalev dropped Ward in the 2nd, but he gassed out in the later rounds. Ward took it. Good fight. J. Henry UK says Kovalev wasn't even landing much. I agree. There are a lot of guys in here that are with different agendas. Some didn't want Ward to win. Some have got other political agendas. Not interested in that. I'm just here to talk about a pure boxing match. Keep that all those other sort of racist sort of comments to yourselves. That's what it's about. It's 2 guys fought and that's it. Dali Perez, as far as that was a robbery tonight. If you want to talk about a robbery, talk about Dali Perez fight. Talk about McDonald's fight last week. That's when you talk about blatant robberies. Don't call this fight a robbery when it was a close fight. Don't call it robbery. You make yourself look silly. Adrian Moulton, I'm surprised Team Kovalev agreed to fight in America with 3 American judges. Very poor decision from Kovalev. Was it a poor decision or was it arrogance that they just thought that Kovalev was going to run through Andre Ward? That's what you got to ask yourself the question. Why do people judge a fight on one night? Dre has a real career. Of course he does, but just casuals don't understand boxing. Baylor, be fair. Is Ward able to win a fight without grabbing the whole fight? Let me ask you a question. When Evander Holyfield fought Mike Tyson, he had to fight a certain strategy. Strategy was that part of boxing and strategy is holding. He's holding the guy up, he's breaking the guy's rhythm, and then he's hitting him on the break. Holding him, tying him up, frustrating him, land his punches, breaking a rhythm. If you've boxed before, guys get into rhythms. You can't afford Kovalev to get into rhythm. If he gets into rhythm, he traps you against the ropes, he bullies you, he gets you out of there. That's how Kovalev fights. You've got to break that rhythm down. So if that means holding him up close, wrestling him up, tying him up, giving yourself time to think about what your next move is going to be, then fine. That's for Kovalev to work out, not Andre Ward. That's Kovalev's responsibility, not Andre Ward. Kovalev's job is to shut Andre Ward down, to stop Andre Ward getting on the inside. That's Kovalev's job, not Andre Ward's. Just like when Mayweather fought Pacquiao, it's Pacquiao's job to stop Mayweather moving around the ring, counter punching, throwing a straight right hand. Andre Ward stopped Kovalev doing what he normally does, which is backing guys up against the rope, walking them down, and just landing big punches. You wait until Golovkin fights a guy that can move like Ward and can counter off the ropes and can move and can slip. Same thing happened with Golovkin. Same thing will happen with Golovkin because it's a certain style that we like to be on top. We like to be in control. We like to keep you on the outside. We don't like you getting on inside and rough us up. I've said about Golovkin, I've said about Kovalev, and I'll say about Golovkin. Similar type of European style. Upright, keep everything at distance on the outside, don't like anything on the inside, cannot fight on the inside. And that's why you saw later in the rounds, Kovalev wrestling with Ward, found it difficult because he's not used to that kind of thing. So Ward took him out of it. Ward does it in all his fights, wrestling with Abraham, Froch, Kessler. You've got to remember the sort of caliber of guys Ward's beaten. And I would argue if there are many guys in the world of boxing today that have got a resume like Andre Ward and still unbeaten. Holding is forbidden, says who? I thought holding is used to catch a break when you're hurt. Holding to tie a guy up. Roy Jones did it as well. Or Roy Jones would hold you and spin you and go off. A lot of the great fighters used to hold. So I don't know what you're talking about. Pixel, constant holding is illegal. It's not a game plan. It's cheating, for F's sake. I suppose you think the headbutting against Kessler was Kessler's problem, yeah? Yeah, it was Kessler's problem. Not Andre Ward's problem. He's got a referee. He's got a mouth. Speak up about it. And it's also the ref's responsibility. And it's also the corner's responsibility to call the ref and say, ref, listen, this guy's headbutting. It's John David Jackson's role to say, listen, ref, this guy's holding all the time. That's what great trainers do. Good trainers let that slide in a tough, big world title unification bout. There's above those guys' trainers' heads. You often hear someone like a Lou Duva saying, "Oi, he's holding." You'll hear that stuff. But with these trainers today, they don't catch on that stuff. And those are crucial points. If John David Jackson said, look, hey, listen, Ward's holding. Stop the holding, ref. Sort it out. Did John David Jackson say that? No. Whose problem is that? Andre Ward's? No. Andre Ward's executing his game plan. Accept it. Don't be sore losers. Your man lost. Deal with it. Move on. Yes, it's legal, but is it illegal to use it 10 times per round? Well, okay. Again, John David Jackson is a trainer. It's his responsibility to say, listen, ref, this is the problem. That's how it works in boxing. Alert the referee. John David Jackson didn't have a problem with it. Sergey Kovalev didn't have a problem with it. Why do you have a problem with it? You're just finding excuses for your man. And it's not good. It doesn't show. They're not educated responses because they don't make. There's no logic in what you're saying. No logic in what you're saying. That tells me all I need to know about your opinion then. I didn't ask you to tune in. Prince Ahmed says, Ward won. Absolutely. Deal with it. Ward won. Deal with it. Your man's been beaten now. Get on with it. I love Sergey Kovalev. Don't get me wrong. I love Sergey Kovalev. I started talking about Sergey Kovalev years ago. Before he fought Nathan Clever and told him he's going to clean that closely and he'll be one of the biggest punches, most dangerous fighters in the light heavyweight division. Right? But when a guy meets a guy who's better than him, who is technically fundamentally better than him, he's better than him. That's it. And that's what happened. That's what it is. That's all it's about. Okay, I've just spotted somebody here. Baylor TV box show. 3 American judges, any international judge unfair on Kovalev. Again, whose problem is that? Andre Ward's or Sergey Kovalev's team? Don't talk to me about the judges. There were 3 judges before the fight. Those were the 3 judges that Duva agreed to. Those are 3 judges Duva agreed to. Don't tell me about the judging. Don't tell me about the holding. That's excuses for your man. That's poor on Kovalev's team part. Nothing to do with Andre Ward. Andre Ward didn't sit down and say, well, I'm going to have this judge, and this judge. It's stupidness you're talking about. Absolute stupidness. You were happy with the judges before the fight. Why now are you calling about the judges after the fight? I didn't hear any brains trust before the fight across Twitter say, oh, there's 3 judges here. They're 3 Americans. Why didn't Kathy do something about that? No, you don't mention it now. Right? Don't mention it now. You don't mention it now. You say it after the fight. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear no excuses. Kovalev got beat. End of conversation. Hometown decision. Ward's fighting in America. Kovalev fights. Kovalev's the champion. The champion has the belts. Surely should have some right about who the judge is, who the referee is. Surely. Absolute casual crap talk. And I'm not acknowledging it anymore. Kovalev is big, and how can he allow Ward to hold him? It's called greatness. That's what it is. Greatness. And I want to know if you're going to criticize Andre Ward and call him a crap fighter, bring me up a fighter now better than Andre Ward at this point in time, and don't tell me Floyd Mayweather. Bring him up. Bring him up. I dare somebody bring up the name Gennady Golovkin. Where are you? Come on, you Golovkin fans, come out. Let's have you tonight. Where are you? Where's your Golovkin fans? Sick and tired of the casuals. You just can't discount Ward's illegal taxes. Let me ask you a question. If it's illegal, I didn't see Ward get points deducted. I didn't see the referee say stop holding. I didn't see the fight go to a disqualification. I saw Andre Ward, it says it in BoxRec, it'll say it in history, regardless of what you think and your biasness, Andre Ward, points, unified champion. That's what it says. Doesn't say illegal holding. Doesn't say he held 10 times. Doesn't say he held 20 times. He won. End of conversation. Vladimir Klitschko made how many defenses of the world heavyweight champion because he can't fight on the inside. And he held, and he held, and he held, and he held. Okay? I don't want it held garbage about holding. And Maurice Hooker was terrible. It was awful. Absolutely terrible. Bayloric, you're totally biased. How can I be totally biased? How can I be totally biased? I've given you something about the judges. Ward didn't pick those judges. Ward was the challenger, not the champion. Garbage. Then you're telling me about Kovalev and the holding. That's not Andre Ward's job. That's John David Jackson's job. That is Kathy Doover's job to talk to the trainer if there's a problem. And talk to her. That's got nothing to do with Andre Ward. You're telling me all this garbage about, oh, well, the judges and about the holding. Not Ward's problem. He did what he had to do to become champion. Gennady Golovkin would destroy Andre and put him in a wardrobe. Yep. And what's Gennady Golovkin's best win? Please tell me. A welterweight, a Kell Brook, who's not even the best in his own weight division. Sorry. You can't say Ward clearly won, man. Listen, Ward is the champion. End of conversation. No matter how much you come up and tell me garbage about, I don't think he won, I don't think he this, I don't think it's that. Go tomorrow morning on BoxRec, go in your boxing news, go online, look at the sanctioning bodies, and look who has the championship. Andre Ward. That's it. Golovkin's a real fighter. Yeah, okay. Are you going to compare Golovkin's CV to shaky CV against Andre Ward? Two-weight world champion, beating the best in his division. Don't talk about Golovkin, mate. You're making yourself sound very, 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 very silly. Straight up crap. Dali Perez robbed, but Kovalev not. That wasn't a robbery. That was not a robbery. You're right. The winner writes the history. Doesn't mean the history is true. That's like saying, it's like Henry Cooper when he got knocked down by Muhammad Ali saying, oh, but Henry Cooper knocked down Muhammad Ali. Next, oh, Bruno rocked Tyson. What happened next? Bottom line is, a lot of people don't like Andre Ward. I accept it. I understand it. Simple. Carlo Branca says, late Vegas money on bets. Kovale's not favorite. The house never loses. LOL, you talk about greatness of what? You talk about Andre like he did something great tonight. Ward champion, also Santa exists. Ward went up two weight divisions, fought in his superman division, fought in the light heavyweight division, beat the top man in both divisions. End of conversation. Absolutely end of conversation. And I'm not getting into any more conversation with you casuals. Somebody give me an educated conversation. Let's have an educated conversation. Let's have somebody talk about something. So, okay, what does Andre Ward do now? Okay, what does Andre Ward do now? Does Andre Ward have a rematch against Sergey Kovalev? And if so, why should he fight Sergey Kovalev for the rematch? You know, he may say, I've beaten you already. Don't need to prove it. I'm going to go and fight Stevenson. I would love to see. Yeah, there's another fight there. Ward versus Cleverly. I'd see that. Ward versus Cleverly for the WBO. I'd like to see that. And then once Ward and Cleverly fight for the WBO, I think it's a big money fight. I think it's a good fight, good enough fight. And then Ward versus Stevenson for all the belts. Unifying the belts. That's how you do a unification. Ward got help from the crowd and the local judges. Not his own boxing skills, of course. Not his footwork, not his chin, not his heart. Not something that other fighters didn't do. No, none of that happened, of course. Typical casual talk. Typical. If you compare CV, then Kovalev had no chance to win this fight. Kovalev did well, didn't he? Yeah, he did. Kovalev fought really well. Well, Kovalev fought the best that he could do. His chin didn't hold up in the second round, mate. Mate, you're an idiot. You're an absolute idiot. If his chin didn't hold up, how did he get to 12 rounds to win the title? You're an idiot. He got caught with a great shot. That's what a chin's for. When your chin don't get hold up, it doesn't hold up, you end up like Amir Khan, horizontal, laid out flat. You end up like David Price. Sorry, David. You get laid out flat. That's your chin holding up. Casual. Right. No, I just can't stand the casual talk. I just cannot stand casual talk. I really can't. And I love the way that Paulie Malignaggi just kind of like put it straight out there. I like you, man. Just chill and accept that Cove deserves a rematch. Hey, I'm not saying he don't deserve a rematch. He doesn't deserve a rematch. If Andre Ward's mark for greatness is to become undisputed light heavyweight champion, doesn't deserve a rematch. Doesn't deserve a rematch. No, I don't think he deserves a rematch. It was a close fight. Yeah, he doesn't deserve a rematch. What Ward now does is go ahead and pick up the fight against Cleverly, beat Cleverly, and then go and fight Adonis Stevenson. That's what he does. Here's somebody talking some sense here. Ward was breaking Kovalev with body shots that weren't picking up on the camera. I mentioned it on those people who are on my Twitter page will see that I talked about Kovalev slowing down and the body shots and whether it would count. Notice the body shots as of round 5, he started landing him nice, good body shots on the inside. I thought from round 5, Andre Ward picked up the pace. Listen, I want to mention this. Guy Bayloric makes sense. Make any sense? Because Bayloric is agreed. Dali Perez gets robbed. Dali Perez got blatantly robbed, but not Kovalev. How did Kovalev get robbed? He didn't get robbed. He didn't get robbed. Robbery where there's a real disparity between the two fighters. He don't need to be Cleverly Stevenson. Clever belt is trash. I know you're saying that. But to become undisputed champion, which is what Golovkin's trying to do, you want all the belts. So I know you may disrespect the WBO, but WBO is still a world championship. And without WBO, you're not an undisputed champion. You're just a unified champion. If you're going to say, okay, for those of you who think that Kovalev won the fight, tell me how he won the fight. Break it down to me how he won the fight. I want to know how he won the fight. I've told you how Kovalev won Ward won the fight. Pixel Hero. Now it comes out. I'm telling you, man, nobody that wanted Ward to win does not care about the future of boxing. That's another nail in the coffin of the sport. Nobody wants to see this shit. No, that's what you saw is science. Boxing is science. You saw jabbing, you saw movement, you saw heart, you saw courage, you saw skills, you saw counter punching, you saw moving on the front foot, you saw fighting on the inside. You saw a combination of many different things from Andre Ward. You saw so many things from Andre Ward. How to fight a puncher, how to pick a fighter apart. You saw so many things there. Jay-Z had something to do with this. It's a shame that Jay-Z has outthought Kathy Duva. It's not good. Not good. Not good at all. Now, Jay Knight says, I agree, but he lost and I want him to win. Okay. Good fight. However, Ward does not get him dropped after a glancing blow. He does not want fight with GGG at 168. Oh, right. That's it. Sorry, my apologies. The WBA champion, not WBO. Thank you, SCFC. Cleverly is WBA regular, not WBO. Ward has WBA super belt. Oh, so he doesn't need Cleverly, only needs Stevenson's belt. Thank you for clarifying that for me. So yeah, so then just go ahead and fight the Stevenson fight. That's what I say. I think that he should go ahead and fight Stevenson. Boxing is entertainment. It has to be. It won't survive. Mate, if you don't like it, go to the UFC, mate. Go to the UFC and watch some cave fighting, some caveman fighting. Go watch UFC because there's no science in that. It's two men having it. Go watch some UFC, mate. Go watch some UFC. Man is super inactive and comes and beats Kovalev. So Kovalev never go to floor and never hurt. Look at his face. Kovalev not land punches. Andre Ward wins fight. Kovalev no longer champion. Andre Ward unified champion. Moving on. Please break down how Ward won. What have I been saying for the last 15 minutes? Please listen in. Ward is a fantastic human being as well as a great fighter. A great role model for kids. Absolutely. Right. I think that's about it for me. I don't shout out to Andre Ward. I'll say it again. Shout out to Andre Ward, the unified light heavyweight champion of the world, beating Sergey Kovalev. Kovalev put on a fought very well tonight. Very good fighter, and shout out to him. Absolutely shout out to him because he's a great fighter. Let himself down a bit at the end, being a bit of a sore loser, saying about the 3 judges. If anything, if it was me and he said that to me, I would have said to him, listen, mate, you knew about the judges before the fight. You came here, you're 3 judges, you're the champion. Why did you let Andre Ward move around the ring for 12 rounds? Why did you not step up the gear and try and close the range and shut him down and knock him out? Why? Because he's a better boxer than you. That's what it is. So, what's a fight night? Listen, the other thing about immediate rematches, you've got to understand, historically, immediate rematches don't bode well for the guy that lost the fight the first time round. They don't bode well. Immediate rematches don't bode well for guys who come back and fight straight away. Those who've been successful in rematches have been guys that have lost the fight, gone away, had 2-3 fights, come back and won. Look at rematches. Guys had immediate rematches. What's happened? I don't know. Don't bring UFC into this. I've got to, because a lot of people here that are heads are hyped from UFC fighting, and they watch Gatti and Ward and they think that that's boxing. Don't bode well for Ward if he can't make it out the first round next time. What are you talking about? Ingram, this dude just says McGregor beats Ward. I know. We don't see what going past 4. A Ward versus Gennady Golovkin. Gennady Golovkin couldn't get Brook out of there in 4 rounds. How the hell is he going to get Andre Ward out of there? And who's getting hit? Is it uppercuts and right hands? Man, get out of here, man. Get out of here, man. About Golovkin. I don't want to talk about Golovkin, man. I'm out of here. Thank you all for tuning in. This is Ingram Jones for Bayloric TV. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, and leave your comments. Your comments. It's too early in the morning for garbage. And look, at the end of the day, world of boxing, we all have an opinion, but don't come on my channel trying to spout casual stuff about blaming the judges when you're down 1-0 before the fight. The judges. Or saying Andre was holding, but yet the referee did nothing about it. John David Jackson never mentioned anything about the holding, never mentioned anything about the judges. Kathy Duva mentioned nothing about the judges. The only person that has a problem, the judges. and the holding of the boxing fans. I'm out of this. Take care. Have a good night. I'm out. Take care.